Good morning, my YouTube friends. Tell you what, I'm having a ton of fun tying these jigs and hopefully helping you guys learn to tie some jigs. So stick around and let's do another one. How's it going, guys? Okay, we're back, and I'm going to start with this little, it's like an AC crappie sticks head, but I don't need this little point here, so I am going to basically try and flatten it out here with my pliers and see if we can get rid of that. So basically, I don't know if you can see, I'm just bending it back here, and then I'm going to bend it flat. So it is nice and completely flat with, there we go. Gives us a much better bed to work with. So, and I'm going to lock it into my vise here. Make sure that's tightened down well. There you go. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do, a little bit of super glue. Just a little dot on there, kind of helps keep everything held together. And I am using this fluorescent chartreuse ultra thread, and it is 210 denier. I like it, especially since on this one I'm going to be building a collar, so having the 210 definitely helps with that. And I'm just kind of going around and locking this in. I don't want to go really past that the collar there, and you'll see why in just a minute here. It's going to be a short body, but it's going to use a bigger collar on this, so get that kind of locked in there. And I have this hairline. It's basically a craft fur in burnt orange. Matches up pretty nicely. So I'm going to use a little bit of that. So I'm just going to find a nice little place to cut and cut me off a piece, and probably take me two of these little wraps here and just kind of sectioning off a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of twist it so it holds together when I cut it, and I use my bigger scissors for this. Okay, so I've got that little tuft here, and it's not going to be enough for a tail on its own, but I'm just going to clean off some of that excess fuzz and fur. You can see, I don't know if you can see if that's coming out there, but once you clean it out, it gets even thinner. So let's get this kind of figured out and then tied in. So I want to clip off a little bit more. Note to self, use bigger scissors on craft fur. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to kind of measure that and do need to take up a little bit of slack here on this. Okay. Do a loose wrap or two around this. And then kind of position this the way I want it. This is just the first of a couple of these hair things, because that's just not enough unto itself to make a good tail. So we need to get some more craft fur. This is going to go in stages, and this tail doesn't need to be super thick, but it also, with craft fur, it doesn't fill out nearly as much. So doing a couple little additions of craft fur helps. Let's see. Okay, and I'm gonna trim off the excess here. And again, kind of just loosely locking it in there. It's getting better. And then I'll tighten it down. I'm gonna trim off this little excess here. I can see some on the other side here. Let's trim that. There we go. And wrap this all the way up to the head. Build up a little at the head and come back. That looks pretty good. I think maybe I'll do one more thing to the craft fur just to kind of fill it out a little bit. So let me get a nice little tuft of it. And then I'll cut it off. Okay, so let me trim this up real quick and then we'll be ready to tie this third one on. And like I say, it takes a little longer, but it does, the results are good. So that's all that matters. So we are going to, I need to tighten up my bobbin here. It's getting a little loose. There we go. That's better. Okay. There we go. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of this red crystal flash here. So let me grab a tiny little bit here. And I think the flash helps quite a bit. It adds some sparkle, which attracts fish for sure. So, you know, I think it's, you know, you can certainly make jigs without it, but it's worth tying on, I think. And I'm just gonna grab a, you know, a couple, 3 little strips of it and cut it off, just so we have, you see that there. I'm just gonna loop that around. And then I'm gonna tie it in here. Shockingly, that's just about right for my length. I'm gonna trim it up just a little bit here. Maybe do that at the end. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I wanna get all this stuff covered up carefully. All the extra color besides the green here. So we're not showing a bunch of this little fuzz here. There we go. And then I'm gonna go up to the head here. What I wanna do is, instead of having a collar like this, I wanna build up the collar kind of in a cone shape to the head. And this will take a few seconds, but I like the way it looks, so. Just takes a second, just going around, around. Just like that. And then I'm gonna take my whip finisher and we're going to do 5 turns around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pop it off of there. Okay, and then I'm gonna clip off that little end there. Okay, and we are almost done. This actually looks really nice. So let's check the sides on here. Yeah, actually that was just about the perfect length for this fish flash, or this, you know, so I'm gonna leave it as is, and I'm gonna get my Loon Outdoors UV fly resin, and we are just going to coat this thread liberally here. Just kind of get it fully saturated. Loosen up my vise. There we go. That's better. And this is it's gonna look nice, but it's also gonna make this jig really last well. So once you got enough on there, gonna keep kind of turning it to kind of keep that resin kind of moving so it stays nice and even. And then I'm just gonna drop my UV light on there. I need to get the bigger size UV light because it'll do this a lot quicker, but this is still pretty darn quick. And I'm just kind of turning it and making sure it stays in motion. I just take a couple more turns of this. And you know what, while I'm doing this, I just want to take a second and say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm not making any money from this or anything. It's just something I really enjoy doing, and it gives me great pleasure to, you know, to think that I helped some people catch some fish. So, because there's nothing cooler than catching fish on lures that you made. So, that should do it. I got a tiny little bit of trimming of a couple rogue hairs to do. And that's easily done with the X-Acto knife here. And one more, and then it'll be all ready to go. There we are. And here is the finished jig. What do you think? Leave me a little comment. Tell me what you think of this one here. Tell me if you think it'll catch some fish. And hopefully we'll see you soon. If you get a chance, like and subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out stuff pretty regularly these days. So anyway, hope you have a great day. Peace.
Put food on the table, pay the money to the landlord, buy some working clothes, 'cause I ain't making money going fishing like I'm paid in a factory.